CDL HazMat Test Prep 2026 Practice Questions Set 2. Flashcard 1. 1. How to identify hazardous material. 2. How to safely load hazardous shipments. 3. How to properly placard your vehicle in accordance with the rules. 4. How to safely transport these materials. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is 4 things an applicant needs to know to pass the hazardous material endorsement test. Flashcard 2. The driver's responsibilities in transporting hazardous materials. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: what is meant by hazard class? Flashcard 3. What? Class code, which indicates the type and level of danger in an emergency or a spill. In case of an accident in which the driver may be injured and cannot communicate the information to the first responders. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: what? Shipping papers list what? What? Flashcard 4. Within easy reach of emergency personnel. The 3 options are: in clear view within immediate reach while the seat belt is fastened while driving, in a pouch on the driver's door, on the driver's seat when out of the vehicle. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: where a driver is required to store shipping papers while a hazardous load is in transit. Flashcard 5. Yes, shippers will mark each package with a diamond-shaped label that gives hazardous class information. If a label will not fit on a package, then a securely attached tag may be used. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: are individual packages required to be marked with hazardous material information? Flashcard 6. Yes, diamond-shaped placard that indicate the hazardous class code of the cargo are required. Both sides, as well as the front and rear of the vehicle, must have identical placards. The placards must be readable from all 4 directions. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: are vehicles required to be placarded with hazardous material information? Flashcard 7. 10.3/4 inches square on point in a diamond shape. Cargo tanks and other bulk packaging also display the ID number of their contents on placards, or orange panels or white square on point displays that are the same size as placards and placed near the placards. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: describe placards. Flashcard 8. 1. Hazard Class 2 proper shipping. Name 3 lists or give reference for requirements pertaining to labeling, packaging, and quantity limits aboard aircraft and stowage on vessels. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: what is the hazardous material table used for? Flashcard 9. An entry with a proper shipping name, hazard class, and ID number. A highlighted entry or one with an X or RQ in the hazardous materials column of business the shipper is in, for example paint dealer, chemical supply, scientific supply house, pest control or agricultural supplier, explosives, munitions or fireworks dealer. Tanks with diamond labels or placards on the premises. Type of package being shipped. Cylinders and drums often are used for hazardous materials shipments. Hazard class label, proper shipping name, or ID number on a package. Handling precautions noted. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: how can a driver tell if a shipment has hazardous material? By looking at the shipping papers. Flashcard 10. The hazard class of materials. The amount of hazardous materials shipped. The total weight of all classes of hazardous materials in your vehicle. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is: what do you need to know in order to determine which placards to use on the vehicle? Flashcard 11. You may park a placarded vehicle not laden with explosives within 5 feet of the traveled part of the road only if your work requires it. Do so only briefly. Someone must always watch the vehicle when parked on a public roadway or shoulder. Do not uncouple a trailer with hazardous material and leave it on a public street. Do not park within 300 feet of an open fire. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what are the rules regarding parking a vehicle carrying hazardous materials? Flashcard 12. Target. Secure the area. Keep people away and upwind. You or your employer must notify the National Response Center at 800-424-8802 as soon as practical, but no later than 12 hours after an incident. Only if trained, attempt to contain the leak using appropriate spill containment devices. Stay there, but always at a safe distance. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what steps should a driver follow if they discover material leaking from their shipment? Flashcard 13. When sending someone for help, write down a description of the emergency or exact location and direction of travel, the shipping name, hazard class, and ID number of the hazardous materials from the shipping paper, your name, the carrier's name, and the name of the community or city where your terminal is located. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when sending someone for help, what information should you give them? Flashcard 14. Your name. Name and address of the carrier you work for, phone number where you can be reached, date, time, and location of incident, the extent of injuries, if any, classification, name, and quantity of hazardous materials involved, if such information is available, type of incident and nature of hazardous material involvement, and whether a continuing danger to life exists at the scene. If a reportable quantity of hazardous substance was involved, the caller should give the name of the shipper and the quantity of the hazardous substance discharged. Carriers must make detailed written reports within 30 days of an incident. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what information must be provided to the National Response Center when making a report? Flashcard 15. Gases, solids, and flammable and combustible liquids. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what forms can hazardous materials come in? Flashcard 16. You must pass written test first. Completing the written test is only the beginning of your training. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, how do you gain a hazardous material endorsement? Flashcard 17. Every 5 years. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, by federal law, how regularly must employees involved in transporting hazardous materials be tested? Flashcard 18. Rules that inform drivers of the proper way to load, transport, and unload bulk tanks. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what are containment rules? Flashcard 19. Explosive contents. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what does an orange placard represent? Flashcard 20. Decide the identification number of the product. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, which of these is not a responsibility of the driver? Flashcard 21. Shipper, carrier, driver. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, in what order do the following operate? Flashcard 22. The shipper has the main responsibility of ensuring the product has been correctly packaged according to the hazardous materials regulations. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, whose responsibility is it to package the hazardous product correctly? Flashcard 23. Class 1. Explosives. Class 2. Gases. Class 3. Flammable and combustible liquids. Class 4. Flammable solids. Class 5. Oxidizing substances, organic peroxides. Class 6. Toxic substances and infectious substances. Class 7. Radioactive materials. Class 8. Corrosives. Class 9. Miscellaneous hazard. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, how many hazard classes are there? Flashcard 24. Class 1 Expel, orange class 3 flam, red, fire class 5 oxide, yellow class 6 pois, BLCK, and WHT, skull. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is color of class 1, explosive class 3, flammable liquid class 5, oxidizer class 6, poisonous. Flashcard 25. The risks associated with the individual products. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what do hazard classes reflect? Flashcard 26. In the event of an emergency, you may not be able to speak. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, why is it important that shipping papers are placed correctly in the vehicle? Flashcard 27. Division 1.1 dynamite can be explosive, making it class 1. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, example of a class 1 hazardous material? Flashcard 28. Division 4.3. Sodium is a hazard as it is spontaneously combustible when wet. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, which hazard class does sodium come under? Flashcard 29. 4. One on the front, one on the rear, and one on either side of the vehicle. This is so the warning can be read by someone approaching the vehicle from any direction. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, how many identical placards are required on a vehicle transporting hazardous materials? Flashcard 30. Alphabetical order. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, in what order are proper shipping names listed in the hazardous materials table? Flashcard 31. Reportable quantity. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what does RQ stand for? Flashcard 32. When a shipping paper suggests inhalation hazard, you must display the poison or poison gas placard. Class 6. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what action should you take if you see the phrase inhalation hazard on your shipping paper? Flashcard 33. 1 dot highlighted in contrasting color 2. Letters NHM in HM column 3. Materials should be described first on the shipping paper. Either mark an X or an RQ if applicable, highlight it or describe it above. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, an order contains both hazardous and non-hazardous materials. Which of the following is not an appropriate way of marking the hazardous materials on the shipping paper? Flashcard 34. Unlike phenylmercuric acetate, phenylthiourea, and phosphine, 4-8 only has a reportable quality of 10 pounds. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, which of these materials does not have a reportable quantity of 100 pounds? Flashcard 35. 5000 pounds. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what is the reportable quantity of phosphoric acid? Flashcard 36. 15 to 50 feet. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, drivers of placarded vehicles transporting hazardous materials must stop blank to blank feet from the nearest rail of a railroad. Flashcard 37. 31. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, how many different type placards are there showing dead specifications? Flashcard 38. Any vehicle carrying chlorine. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when is it required for the driver to have an approved gas mask on hand? Flashcard 39. 10.3/4-inch square or diamond. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, size and shape of placard. Flashcard 40. Can safely pass the fire without stopping. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, whenever your vehicle is placarded, do not drive near open fires unless you Flashcard 41. Tabbed differently and kept on top of all other paperwork. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, the hazardous waste manifest should be. Flashcard 42. No, you can't haul a forbidden cargo. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, can you haul forbidden material? Flashcard 43. 2 years. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, besides your appropriate license, a driver must carry on his person at all times a dated certificate signed by the employer. This certificate must also be updated every. Flashcard 44. A UL rating of 10B/C or above. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what type fire extinguisher is required in the power unit of a placarded vehicle? Flashcard 45. Only for safety purposes, no more than safety requires. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, if hazardous material is spilling from your vehicle, do not move your vehicle. Flashcard 46. Poisons. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, animals and human foodstuffs should not be loaded in the same vehicle with. Flashcard 47. Tells the degree of control needed during transportation. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, the transport index of a radioactive material. Flashcard 48. A placarded cargo tank. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, Class A explosives must not be transported in a combination vehicle if the vehicle includes. Flashcard 49. The written route plan. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, which of the following must drivers have in their possession while transporting Class A or B explosives? Flashcard 50. A bulk container permanently attached to a vehicle. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, which of the following is the proper definition of a cargo tank? Flashcard 51. Any property that has been government approved for unattended vehicles that are hauling explosives. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what is the best description of a safe haven? Flashcard 52A. Materials hazard class B. Amount being shipped C. RQ is listed. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, 3 indications or keys to identify which placard to use. Flashcard 53. When filling or unloading any flammable liquid tank, ground must be maintained until filling hole is properly closed. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when is it necessary to ground the trailer? Flashcard 54. 300. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, you may not park a vehicle carrying hazardous materials within blank feet of an open fire. Flashcard 55. Explosives A and B. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, the materials that are the exception and do not allow parking within 5 feet close to a road are. Flashcard 56. No, you cannot. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, can you legally haul hazardous materials without a hazardous materials endorsement on your commercial driver license? Flashcard 57. The shepherd. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, the emergency response telephone number is the responsibility of which individual? Flashcard 58. Emergency Response Guidebook. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, ERG stands for. Flashcard 59. The name of a hazardous material is crucial because this will be the same as on the shipping paper. Also needed is the ID number. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, the most important information on the package marking is flashcard 60. 1. The hazard class of materials. 2. How many of them you are shipping. 3. The total weight of the materials deemed hazardous. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what 3 things you need to know when choosing a placard to display? Flashcard 61. At least 3 inches. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, how far away must placards be from other markings? Flashcard 62. 119 gallons. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, what capacity must a single container be able to contain to be considered a bulk packaging? Flashcard 63. Plus 7. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, which of the following hazard classes divisions does not have to be braced ahead of transport? Flashcard 64. Never smoke anywhere near your vehicle if you are transporting any materials that are Class 1 explosives, Division 2.1 flammable gas, Class 3 flammable liquids, Class 4 flammable solids, Class 5 oxidizers. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, you should never smoke anywhere near your vehicle when transporting which classes of materials? Flashcard 65. Class 1 explosives, Class 3 flammable liquids, and Division 2.1 flammable gases. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, there are special cargo heating rules for loading which of the following? Flashcard 66. The only exception is in an emergency situation where there is no alternative action that can be made. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, you should never transfer explosives Class A or B / Divisions 1.11.2 and 1.3 between vehicles on a public roadway, except Flashcard 67. To avoid incident, you shouldn't transport explosives in combination vehicles with anything longer than a double trailer. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, you must never transport Class A explosives in any vehicle longer than Flashcard 68. More than 2 high or above any other product. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, you must never load nitric acid blank. Flashcard 69. 1. They are held upright or braced laying flat down. 2. Fastened in racks attached to the vehicle or in boxes that will keep them from turning over. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when loading your vehicle with Class 2 compressed gas materials, it is crucial that Flashcard 70. Radioactive materials. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when loading which of the following would you expect to find the term transport index? Flashcard 71. At the nozzle, controlling the fuel flow. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when fueling a placarded vehicle you must be Flashcard 72. This material is only restricted when shipped by air and or water. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, and as such W. The first column of the hazardous materials table means. Flashcard 73. It is not the proper shipping name. Those in Roman type above it are. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when a substance in the materials table is written in italics it means. Flashcard 74. D. Domestic transportation, G. I. International W. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, column 1 of the table contains 6 symbols. Flashcard 75. Lists the hazardous materials descriptions and proper shipping names of materials designated as hazardous materials. Or in italics indicates that there is a choice of terms in the sequence that may alternately be used. Poison and toxic are used interchangeably. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is column 2. Flashcard 76 contains a designation of the hazard class or division corresponding to each proper shipping name or the word forbidden. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is column 3. Flashcard 77, the identification number assigned to each proper shipping name. UN equals proper shipping names considered appropriate for international transportation as well as domestic transportation. NA equals not recognized for international transport, except Canada. ID equals proper shipping names recognized by the ICAO technical instructions. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is column 4. Flashcard 78, one or more packing groups assigned to a material corresponding to the proper shipping name and hazard class for that material. Packing groups I, Roman 2 and Roman 3 indicate the degree of danger presented by the material is great, medium, or minor, respectively. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is column 5 specifies. Flashcard 79 codes which represent the hazard warning labels required. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is column 6 specifies. Flashcard 80, explosives 1.1. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is when hauling explosives 1.1 and 1.3, which placard do you use? Flashcard 81, 15 days. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is when a spill occurs of an RQ substance, the carrier has within blank to report the spill. Flashcard 82, the proper shipping name without regard whether the material meets the definition of that class. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is column 1 symbols the plus sign means. Flashcard 83, insect for possible puncture risks bolts, hooks, sharp loose materials close all manholes and valves. Be sure they are free of leaks. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is you have loaded a hazardous material into a cargo tank. What must you do before you move the vehicle? Flashcard 84, must be signed and carried by anyone transporting a hazardous waste. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a properly prepared uniform hazardous waste manifest. Flashcard 85, hydrogen bromide, non-flammable gas, UN 1048. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the right order of shipping paper descriptions for a hazardous material is. Flashcard 86, more than 110 gallons. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a placard is required for a combustible liquid at. Flashcard 87, reflective triangles. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is which signals may be used to warn of a stopped vehicle that contains explosives? Flashcard 88, 2 hours or 100 miles. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is you must stop your vehicle and check any dual tires at least once every blank, whichever is less. Flashcard 89, carrier must report any spill of this material. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is an RQ before or after the item description on the shipping paper, it means. Flashcard 90, a copy of FMCSR Part 397. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is carriers must give each driver who transports Class A or B explosives. Flashcard 91, to communicate the risks associated with the material. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the intent of hazardous materials regulations is to ensure safety, to contain the material, and. Flashcard 92, Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the total transport index of all radioactive material packages in a single vehicle must not exceed. Flashcard 93. Check the proper route and get the permits needed for the trip before you start the trip. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is you are going to be hauling hazardous materials over a route you do not know well. You must. Flashcard 94A. Flammable liquids B. Flammable gas C. Explosives. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is which three hazard classes should not be loaded into a trailer that has a heater/air conditioner unit? Flashcard 95. 1. Remove the tire and place it a safe distance from the vehicle. 2. Stop at the nearest safe place and fix it. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is 1. You find an overheated tire during an en route inspection. If you are hauling hazardous materials, you must. 2. You find a leaking tire, you must. Flashcard 96. The explosives have been placed at least 200 feet away from the vehicles and occupied buildings. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a truck carrying explosives has crashed with another vehicle. You should not pull them apart until. Flashcard 97. The driver. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is who is responsible for finding out what permits or special routes you will need to haul hazardous materials? Flashcard 98. Explosives or placards. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is a vehicle contains 500 pounds each of explosives A and B. You must use. Flashcard 99. Shipment is regulated by hazardous material regulations. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is if an X or RQ is in the HM column of a shipping paper entry, the. Flashcard 100A. The required label B. The hazardous materials shipping name and identification number C. The name and address of shipper or consignee. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is which of the following, if required, must the shipper put on the package? Flashcard 101. The shipper is a private carrier carrying his or her own product. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the shipper's package hazardous materials. They must certify that this was done according to the regulations. The only exception is when. Flashcard 102. 2 feet. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is the transport index of a material is 1.1. What distance must it be kept from people? Flashcard 103. Anything you swallow, excluding mouthwash, toothpaste, and skin creams. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is foodstuffs definition. Flashcard 104. Class A explosives, because it could prove a major hazard to the safety of not only the driver but also surrounding people. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is charged storage batteries should never be loaded in the same vehicle with. Flashcard 105. 881.9 pounds of solid water capacity of 1000 plus pounds for a gas. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is to be considered a bulk packaging. The freight container or transport vehicle must be capable of holding blank pounds of solid and sludge or water capacity of blank pounds for gas. Flashcard 106. 1. Within 25 feet of the tank. 2. Have a clear view of the tank. 3. Know the hazards. 4. Be aware of emergency procedures. 5. Be able to and authorized to move the tank. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is when someone is loading or unloading a cargo tank, there must always be another individual watching. How close must they be to the vehicle? Flashcard 107 if you need to operate a pump. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when loading or unloading flammable liquids, you must always turn off your engine. The only exception is Flashcard 108 reflective triangles or red electric lights in the event of a breakdown. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, you must never use flares or fuses around a vehicle that has Class A or B explosives, or tanks that transport Class 3 or Division 2.1 materials, flammable liquids, and gases, respectively, whether they be empty or full. During a breakdown, use Flashcard 109. 25 feet of the vehicle. You should never smoke within 25 feet of a placarded tank used for Division 2.1 materials. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when transporting explosives, flammable liquids, flammable solids, or oxidizers, you should never smoke or carry a lighted cigarette/pipe/cigar within. Flashcard 110. 2 hours or 100 miles, whichever is less. Also, you must use a tire pressure gauge and you must consider regulations about parking and watching placarded vehicles. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, you should check your tires every. Flashcard 111. Check that your driving partner is okay. Ensure you have your shipping papers with you and keep people far away and up when call for help. Keep a safe distance but do not leave the vehicle unattended. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, in a hazardous materials emergency, which of the following would you do first? Flashcard 112. Park the vehicle, secure the area, stay there, send someone else for help. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, you discover a leak in your vehicle. Which of the following is the correct procedure to follow? Flashcard 113. The carrier, except when picking up Class A or B explosives at a location other than your employer's terminal, then it is the responsibility of the driver to create a written route plan. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when transporting explosives, a written route plan is required. Whose responsibility is it to create this? Flashcard 114. Name and address of the carrier they work for, the hazardous materials, time and location of the incident, any injuries sustained, a phone number they can be reached at, any continuing danger to life that exists at the scene. Think of the answer before the reveal. The answer is, when making an immediate telephone report, which of the following details would the caller not be expected to give?